We're going to need the strap today. It's going to be one of the things we'll need. But we're going to start in Shavasana, so just laying on our backs. We're just going to do the breathing on our backs today, so just getting comfortable and getting connected to the breath. As we'll move into a couple of poses from here. And just start connecting to the breath. So we want to start connecting to the inhales mainly. So nice deep inhales. And long, slow exhales, but just focus on the deep inhales first. So just focus on that nice inhale. It's really good sometimes to do this in Shavasana because you're a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more comfortable, so you can focus a little bit more on the breath. So just each breath just become deeper. And then start focusing on the exhale. So now you've got the inhale deeper, expanding the lungs, just releasing the air slow on the exhale. So just making sure you expand the lungs as much as you can right now. And then the exhale, we're just releasing the air slowly. So this breathing is just so important, not just for yoga, for your exercise, for general life. So just teach yourself to fill the lungs with the inhale. And release the breath slow. Just getting rid of that short, shallow chest breathing that we seem to try and cope with each day. We're going to come into Banana Asana, so just laying on the floor, our legs are out wide, so feet either side of the mat. Just bring your left foot over the top of the right foot. Keep your hips on the floor and then just work the torso to the right, but keeping the hips straight. Once you feel that stretch in the left hip, it's supposed to be just a really nice stretch, nothing too intense. Just lift the arms up there and reach up and try and get that stretch down the side body if you can. Just laying in this position, a couple of minutes either side here, we'll just start allowing that blood to flow through the side of the body. I'm going to need the side body to be a little bit stronger in some of the poses that we're doing today. And just try and keep that left hip from raising too far off the floor. You can bring it towards the floor and continually stretch over to get that stretch through that hip. And just continually with the focus on that breath, inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. So the last 30 seconds on this side. And just slowly come back to center with the torso and the head. Bring the left foot to the outside of the mat, the left side, and then bring the right foot over. So crossing at the shins or the ankles, and then keeping the hips where they are, working the torso to the left. As soon as you feel that nice stretch in the hip, then raise the arms above the head. You can reach as far back as you like to reach. Maybe not as far as I did on the candle. Felt like my hand was getting nice and warm again. It was actually burning. Just reaching back, reaching over, and just getting that nice stretch down the right hand side. And just focus on the breath. Just always try and get the lungs more expanded throughout this hour. So just always focus on a deeper inhale. You can just do that nice deep inhale. You're exercising the lungs, giving yourself a chance for more capacity in the lungs. So whatever you do in your daily life, then you'll excel by having more oxygen, being able to pump through the lungs. So the last 30 seconds, if you want to go deeper, this is your chance to go deeper. Or you can stay where you are. Just even reach your hands out further just to get a deeper stretch through the shoulders. When you're ready, slowly come back and just laying in Shavasana. So just bring those legs out apart. And just relax. Really nice way to start the pose. Start the class with a nice pose. Then when you're ready, just bring the knees into the chest and have a squeeze. You don't have to rush up, just enjoy that. And then rolling up to a seated position and getting yourself prepared for child's pose. So what I'd like you to do in child's pose today is, if your bum isn't touching your heels, just use your bolster or a cushion or even a block behind you. So just like that, and then come forward, but keep pushing the hips back to that area. Just work on that. It's a really nice way to stretch if you need to Sometimes if your bum's sticking up in the air too much, you'll just never bring it back to the hips. But if you've got something to aim for, it just works. A bit of psychology for the body, I suppose, mind, body. Obviously, if you don't need that, don't use it. Sometimes I like to use it. It's just a nice, comfortable position for me. And then you can slowly release it if you've got it there towards the end, or maybe stay in it the whole time. So 3 minutes in this pose. We've been in a minute. Just keep working those hips back as you sink down into the floor with your upper body. You work the hips back to your heels. Obviously the breath is really important, so connecting to the breath. Halfway through down. Just the last 40 seconds. Just completely let go in this pose now. Just let everything just sink into the floor. It's a really nice grounding pose. And when you're ready, slowly making your way up. And coming onto your stomach, so we'll just lay on the stomachs and come into crocodile pose. So toes out, heels in, feet apart. Stack the hands, drop the forehead on the hands. Then when you're ready, just help yourself up onto all fours. And then you don't have to come into downward dog. We're coming into pigeon pose. But what we need to do is bring that right knee up against the right wrist and then turn the toes around. So, yeah, Mary, you're going to have to work it around, so you're just doing it one-handed. And then we've got our foot coming around or toes pointing backwards. That left leg should be straight behind the hip. So the foot in line with the hip. Lengthen through the spine and then slowly come down. You can have a bolster in front of you. This is a nice way to relax into this pose. So you should feel this in the glute. And just come and relax in this. It's a really nice stretch of the glutes before we get deep into the hamstrings. We're going to stretch through the glute. So if you don't need the bolster, you can just come down to the floor. And then relax as much as you can. It's quite, can be quite an intense stretch. There is another version you can do of this, and that's thread the needle by laying on your back, bending the left knee up, bringing the right ankle onto the thigh, and then just pulling that leg back. So that's the same stretch, just not as intense. And you support it. So 3 minutes either side. Most of these poses today. So. Really important to keep breathing through this pose. The more you breathe, the more you're just going to sink back in. To that hip so that you're stretching through deep into the glutes. That's what I'm feeling right now. That's why I'm finding it hard to talk. Stretching nice and deep into that glute. If you want to go even deeper, you've got just over a minute to go. You can just crawl the left toes backwards. So you just crawl them backwards. So you're lengthening through that left leg, but you're actually getting deeper into the right glute. Just the last 20 seconds now in this pose, on this side. When you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. So just lift the chest off the floor, and you can straighten that back leg, lift the toes up, and then just bring that right leg back and then switch sides. So you can just walk that knee up, turn it over, push it up near the wrist. Bring the toes outwards, the left toes, that right foot should be in line with the right hip. Lengthen through the spine and then come into the pose. So you'll find one glute is generally tighter than the other. This one's loose for me, the other one was excruciating. So just realize that that's your balance. So obviously I've been doing a lot more of my right glute. I'm not balancing out. It's vital to stick to that breath. Just keep breathing through the nose. And just feel yourself getting deeper into the pose. The more you focus on the breath, the more you feel yourself just getting deeper and deeper. Just on halfway through, so if you want to get even deeper, just crawl those right toes backwards. So you're straightening the right leg even more.
And that's dropping the left hip more towards the floor, so you're getting a deeper stretch in the glute. And if you want to go even deeper, you just bring the left toes further towards the front of the mat. And that's going to imbalance you, so you're going to go to the left, so then you've got to bring your body back to center and then relax down. There's a minute to go. You should be really in control of that breath now. And when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. You can even just bring your right foot over and then just come back into Shavasana. So just laying back in Shavasana, just allowing that blood. You should feel, I just felt really nice sensation there in the glutes. So it's just that blood flushing through there. Just clearing out all that stagnant energy. Clearing out the tightness. So we're just going to do a back bend before we spend 3 or 4 poses doing hamstrings. So just bend the knees up, squeeze them in if you can, and then just roll up to a seated position. And we're going to come into melting heart, and it's not everyone's favourite pose. I'm just going to show you a few different ways you can do this. And obviously the full pose, I like to show that first so you know where to go. So we'll bring chest and chin to the floor and looking forward, reaching the arms forward. So it's a shoulder stretch as much as a back stretch, so the hips are up. Okay, so if that's not available to you, you can bring your forehead to the floor. So you can just drop to the forearms and just bring the forehead to the floor, or even use the block. That's quite nice to do that. But we're focusing on the hips being up, so we keep pushing the hips back. Okay, so that's that way, or you can use your bolster and just lean on the bolster, but make sure the hips are up, so keep pushing the bolster forward until you're comfortable and have the hips up. So you want to feel it in the middle back, feel that scooping out of the middle back. So just come into it the best you can. It's a really nice back bend and shoulder stretch all in one. And sometimes the chin on the floor isn't for everyone, particularly if you've got a neck injury. So always just bring the forehead to the floor if that's the case. So what it means is you're just still lengthening through the spine, which is a good thing. But in this pose, what you're doing is lengthening through the throat or opening up the throat. You're just switching it around. So we're blocking off blood flow through the back, through the middle back. You should be getting a really nice stretch in that area.
Beautiful.
So keep focusing on the breath. You're halfway through now. Just remember this pose can be intense for most people. So if you need to drop out, just go straight into crocodile pose. You've got a minute to go. So working with the breath to get you through this last 40 seconds. This is the type of pose, the more you do it, you progress quite quickly in this pose. It's one of those poses you can see progression happening, but it's finding that comfortable spot first. Once you get that comfy spot, and then you start feeling that stretch in the middle back, and you start poking those hips up a little bit higher, then you'll feel yourself getting deeper and deeper into the pose. So you're opening up that middle back that gets the chest down, gets the chin down. So when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. So just slide forward and come into crocodile pose. Just relax there. We're going to flip over soon, but crocodile pose is really nice after this one. So we're going to move into hamstrings now. There's 1, 2, 3 dedicated poses now for hamstrings. Really important in winter to keep these hands. It is all the time, but winter especially, they tend to be the first things that tighten up, particularly if you're doing gym work, any exercise, they'll tighten up a lot faster in the colder weather. So when you're ready, just help yourself up and grab your strap, anything that you use for a strap. And we're going to come into hammock pose, but there's a few different ways you can do it. I don't think I've showed you the one, which I'll show you. So put the strap around the right foot. Remember, you can hold it if you like, if that's what you want to do, and bring it back. Mary, you might have to hold it with one hand, obviously. Or you can put it around your head like this. That's another one. But I keep forgetting to tell people the other one, you can just have it under your back like that, so underneath the shoulders as well. So there's the other one you can use. Sometimes that's a little bit more comfortable. I find it uncomfortable, but a lot of people do find it more comfortable. I like to flick it back over to the back of my head and just come into the pose. Making sure that left leg is straight. And the hip down. Into the floor. There's a style of yoga called Iyengar yoga, and when you do this pose, I don't know if you can imagine it, but you've got another strap that is wrapped around your hips and goes under your left foot. So the left foot then wrapped around the hips. And what that does is just keep your hips nice and straight. So you're actually getting a deeper stretch. One day I might show that one to you guys. It's a really nice pose. So if you're holding it, if you're just holding the strap, just make sure that you're holding that tension. Okay, so you're not relaxing the hamstring, you're actually making the hamstring tense. And always keep working your right heel up towards the ceiling and your right toes
towards the shins. Continually work that and you're going to get really deep into the Achilles and into the back of the knee. Remember to breathe. We've got just a minute to go this side. This is just a warm up for the hamstrings, just to get the blood, get them open, to get the blood flowing through there. So last 30 seconds. So if you're holding the strap, make sure you get the most amount of tension now as you pull back. And everyone push that heel upwards. Just keep pushing it up from now to the end of the stretch. Keep pushing it up, keep testing yourself, push it up. Don't move the left hip or the left leg, just keep pushing that right heel up. And slowly release, just switch to the other side. Just switching legs. And just work with that tension. Always work towards the straight leg. Okay, so most people have to have their knee bent. But keep using the tension as you come back, but keep trying to move, or keep attempting to move that knee and straighten the knee. You'll only be able to go so far, it'll just lock, but always test that lock, test if you've broken that barrier and you can move a little bit further. Once you get mobility and blood flowing through those hamstrings, whatever you do during the day is just going to escalate in your mobility. So all these people at the gyms and they've got their hamstrings are like so tight. I wonder why they get hip injuries and lower back injuries. Really, really need to work on hamstrings. So you've got 40 seconds to go. So this is when I always work deep into the Achilles now. So doing that is pushing the heel upwards. Toes towards the shins. Start stretching deeper in the lower part of the leg. And when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. Keep your strap handy. You're going to need that. Just bring the left leg down I just feel that sensation running through. Mine's right through the hip, and right down the hamstring. Feel it going into the foot. So give the hamstrings a really good relax now, because we're going into a pretty deep hamstring pose next. So when you're ready, bend the knees up. Give yourself a nice hug. So reverse that by bringing the knees in. Don't rush to come up. Just squeeze in. And then roll up to a seated position. And we're going to come into Janu Shavasana, which is head to knee pose with the strap. So we'll start with, what did we finish with? Left leg, didn't we? So we'll start with the left foot up against the right thigh, legs straight out. Now with these ones, Mary, you're going to have to just use one hand. You'll still be able to do it quite well. You just might tire a little bit in the hand. So lengthening through the spine is the biggest thing. So get that strap there. And it's really important just to listen how I'm going to explain through this, unless you've really got it down pat. So you want to pull on that hamstring, pull on that strap, and bring the shoulder blades together. Okay, so that's lengthening through the spine. So if that's enough for you, you can stay there and just keep pushing that heel away. Otherwise, come forward and bring stomach to thigh. Okay. Once you get stomach to thigh, then you can move further down the leg. If you haven't got stomach to thigh, just keep working stomach to thigh. And then just work forward. So if you're working stomach to thigh, you just want to get to that tension there, just like you did laying on your back. But what we're doing is lengthening through the back now. So work stomach to thigh. And if you've got stomach to thigh, you can come all the way down. If you don't need the strap, then once you've got stomach to thigh, you'll find you won't need the strap, but you can still use it. It's still a really good tool to use. And then bring the forehead to the knee, elbows to the floor. So this should be an intense stretch. If you're not feeling it, you're not pulling hard enough. And you can keep pulling and your hands get tired. Just rest the hands, have a breath, and then do it again. So you can just do it in little segments as well. So you should feel that this lower back. You should feel the movement of the lower back. And the reason we want stomach to thigh is to get that pelvic tilt. Once we get that pelvic tilt and stomach's on thigh, that means that the lower back is opened up as much as it can open. And then we're able to work into the middle back and lengthen through the top of the spine so we can bring the chin to the chest. So it's just breaking down into those progressive areas, and that'll give you the best hamstring stretch. Yeah, there's no better than this one. Well, Paschimottanasana is the best, but this is one of the best. You always use the strap as much as you need to. You get to the stage where you can still reach your foot. There's days where I just use the strap through the whole process. So you just go back to the strap, use it. You really have to be up through there. Yeah. It's really slow. Give me a headache. Just continue through
Working with the breath, you've got a minute to go. Yeah, just last 40 seconds. So try and find the stillness here now. So everyone, you can see that you're in the pose nice. So just try and find that stillness and work that breath. That's the opening then of that hamstring. And then when you're ready, slowly coming out of the pose. So then what you've got is no blood flow through the left knee. So stretch that left knee out and allow the blood flow to go through. You can just shake the right hamstring if you need to. So legs straight out, making sure that the ankle is in line with the hip. Bring that right foot up. Get yourself comfortable in that area, using the strap, and just go through the whole process again on this side. The lengthening through the spine is the most important part. And I get as much tension as possible, so by pushing the heel away, shoulder blades together, and then work forward. Go through the progressions that you need to go through. And stop where you need to work on. Just stop on that, in that space. So with this pose, you can see, I can look at people who've been doing yoga for years and they still can't get their stomach to the thigh because they've never focused on getting the stomach to the thigh. They just think that bending forward is the aim of it, and it's not that at all. It's the tilt of the pelvis. That is the basis of this pose. You should really be working hard with the breath. This pose challenges you with breath. The breath always wants to go quicker in these challenging poses, so just slow the breath down. Continually through work with the process that you've got to work with. Don't allow the mind to dictate where you are. Just allow the breath to calm the mind so the body can take you where it needs to go. So you've got a minute to go. You should start feeling the opening of that lower back a lot now, but we're doing both sides. Last 30 seconds, so get in as deep as you can. Now we'll find, once you get to that place where you can go, the furthest you can go, just find the stillness. So if you're ever sitting around and you find yourself saying, I'm bored, grab your strap and do this pose and the next pose, and you will just get so much progression in yoga, fitness, and just in your general mobility. And you'll see when that happens and you'll be amazed. So just Stretch both legs out and just give them a bit of a shake. I'm not having a rest yet. But we are going to twist. So just give your legs a shake and then just bring the left hand on the outside of the right knee, right hand behind, and just twist that spine. Nothing aggressive, just twist, just so we can get it ready for the next pose. Come back to the other side, right hand on the outside of the left knee, left hand behind, and twist. Come back to center, bend the knees up, and just come into windshield wipers. Feeling that too. We're both feeling it here, so. And then we're going to stretch both legs out, Paschimottanasana. So this is the ultimate stretch of the hamstrings. Okay, so we're going to lengthen through the spine. So if you want to put something in front of your stomach, and what this is just mind over matter. So it's about getting something to practice to lean on. And once you do that, you push through that barrier and you feel yourself pushing through it, and then your stomach will eventually come to the thigh. So if you've got that, put that there. Push the heels away, toes towards the shins. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, pull. And again, you can do it one hand if you need to. And pull down, stomach to thighs. I can feel that now. My stomach's on the thighs and I can feel how tight my hamstrings are. So I'm going to ease my way down. Keep working to that progress of stomach to thigh. Watch your stomach is at the thigh. Keep looking, and you should be looking at your toes anyway. But once your stomach's at your thigh, look more intensely, because the next stage is getting your head close to those toes. You can, once you get your stomach to your thigh, you'll be able to reach past your feet with your hands. And so you start putting blocks in front of you, and that'll even lengthen more through the hamstrings. And I'm a little bit tight. I'm going to attempt 2 blocks today. I'll just work my hips back, so it'll get my stomach deeper into the thighs, and then I can easily reach these 2 blocks. You can see it. So just keep breathing, bringing that stomach to the thigh. Once you get into this, it's really, really difficult breath-wise. You've got to start working that breath. Just lengthen. So always just keep telling yourself stomach to thighs. Once you do stomach to thighs, then you've got all these other options. And the stomach to thigh is the hardest part of this pose. So every now and again, just work your seat bones backwards a little bit, and you'll just find yourself getting a little bit closer.
You've got to press go. Oh.
you've got about a minute to go. Just keep bringing that stomach to the thighs. Just work your hips back. As you're getting closer, stomach to the thighs, you're bringing those elbows to the floor. That's what you're working on. So when you're ready, slowly start releasing from this pose. You really need to relax in Shavasana for a good minute or so after this. A pretty intense pose is what we just put together there. So just allow the resting of the hamstrings. And the final pose before Shavasana is a really nice way to finish the class. We're just going to reverse that blood flow through the legs, but just stay in this for another 20 seconds or so, and then you can come into the final pose whenever you're ready, and it's legs up. So you can use the wall, you can use your lounge or the bed or whatever it is to push your bum up against, or just legs straight up. You can use the block underneath your hips, so you should know all the options now. Whenever you're ready, you can stay in Shavasana a bit longer if you like, but whenever you're ready, just come into legs up, Ravita, legs up. Bring those shoulder blades together, chin towards the chest. And this is really going to be nice to your lower back because we've just put a lot of tension in that area, that lower back. But really good for your blood flow now. So your hamstring is going to love this, just that draining of the blood. Just remember, you can bring the legs out wide if you like. Totally up to you. We haven't really done any hip stuff today. We did a bit of hip, I think it was yesterday. We're doing a lot of hip stuff on Friday, so it's mainly hips Friday. Just always, when you're in this pose, doesn't matter if you're up against the wall or you've got some support, just always keep bringing chin to chest, shoulder blades together, belly button to spine. Once you do that, just breathe, focus on the breath. Every now and again, just check that your chin is towards the chest, belly button to spine, and breathe. Because if you're not used to lengthening through the cervical spine, your head will just always tilt backwards. And so what you're doing then is compressing the cervical spine. You want to lengthen through the cervical spine. And sometimes you may need, particularly if you've got a stiff neck, you may need a block behind your head or a cushion, something just to support you. So just, if you think you need that, make sure you do it. Always just keep bringing that chin towards the chest.
So this is really good for just losing a lot of that fluid around the chin by compressing that chin to the chest. Pose. Slowly come out of the pose and just release. You come into the final pose, Shavasana, and just allow yourself to relax. All those beautiful poses like that last one, the Viparita Karani, is just never long enough. And just completely relax. Allow that blood to flow through the legs now. One thing that you'll get out of today's class is way more mobility in the lower back and the legs. Okay, so you're really going to get the mobility there. If you want to go out and do some squats, today is the day. So just allowing yourself to completely relax. Just focusing on one thing. Pick that thing to focus on, whether it's the breath through the nose, the heart, the belly button, maybe the sternum. Just focus on that thing. Now what I'll get you to focus on is the breath. So just focus on the breath. Focus on the inhale through the nose and the exhale through the nose. Then what I want you to do is count the breath down. From 12 to 0. So inhale, 12, exhale, 12. Inhale, 11, exhale, 11. Inhale, 10, exhale, 10. Go all the way down to 0. And now, while you're laying in Shavasana, just give yourself thanks and praise for getting here today and allowing yourself just this space, this time to yourself before your day starts. And send off a gratitude to someone in your life, something in your life, some event that happened in your life perhaps. Send that gratitude off. And then when you're ready, start wiggling the toes and the fingers. Roll to the right hand side. Take a breath, heading up to Sukhasana, comfortable seated pose. Just bringing the hands into prayer position. Thank you guys for being here this morning and giving yourself this time and allowing me to take you through the class. It's a pleasure to do so, and have a wonderful rest of Wednesday. Namaste.